In this quick tutorial, I will show you how you can use Playmaker to start a dialog. Currently, I am in an empty project, but I have already imported a dialog system as well as Playmaker assets into my project. The first thing that I will do is I will go to IndieDevs, dialog system, example, scenes, and I will open up sample scenes directory, and within this directory I will open up the sample scene. Now this scene contains a few game objects, and what it does is whenever we hit play, the scene will start, and once we hit space, the dialog will start showing, and yeah, that's basically all there is here. Now what I will do is I'll go to Dialog UI Manager, and I will quickly open up the sample Dialog UI Manager script. Now inside the script, as you can see, what we have here is the update method, and here we check for the input. We basically search for the space key, so if user clicks on a space, it will try to start the dialog. Now we want to make this functionality inside Playmaker, so let me just remove this and this import as well. And what I will do is I will make this a public function, and let's just rename this to start dialog. Now that's all we had to do. Let's return back to Unity Editor. Alright, so back in Unity Editor, what we'll do is let's just open up the Playmaker window. So let's go to Playmaker and Playmaker Editor. Let's just close this, and I will put the editor window right here. Okay, so the first thing that we'll want to do is let's just select the game object. What I will do is I will select the Dialog UI Manager game object, but you can theoretically create a new one or select anything you want really. But I think it makes sense to select this one. And here we will actually create a functionality for starting the dialog. So what I will do is I will right click within the editor, and let's just select add FSM. This will create sort of like a state machine where we can create and define different states. So let's just click on the first state, and we can rename this to wait for input. Now this state will be present most of the time, and what we will do is we will wait for the space key input from the keyboard. So let's just select Action Browser, and let's search for get key down. So it's this one. Now what we want to do is we want to search for the space key, and we want to actually move to another event whenever the space was clicked. So let's create a new event. We can call this start dialog. Let's create event. And now what we will need to do is create a transition. So let's first of all create a new state. We can call this start dialog. And in the start dialog state, what we will want to do is we want to call the start dialog function from our sample Dialog UI Manager script. Let's just open the Action Browser again, and let's just search for call method. All right, now the component that we want to put here is our script, and the method that we want to call is the start dialog. All right, now all we have to do is in the wait for input, we need to add transition start dialog, and in the start dialog, we want to add finish transition. Now from the start dialog transition, you should be able to create an arrow and basically create a transition from this to start dialog state, and from the start dialog state finished transition, you should be able to create an arrow to the wait for input. Now basically what happens is most of the time we are in the wait for input state, and whenever we click on space, we are transitioned to the start the dialog state. And once that state finishes, so basically after we call the start dialog method, we are moved back for wait for input state. Okay, so now we should be able to play the game. So let's hit play and let's see if it works. Alright, so the game is playing. Let's just press space. And as you can see, the dialog is showing. If I open up the dialog editor window here, you can see, that the current state is wait for input. Now, whenever I click on the space within the game, you can see that for a second we are transitioned to start dialog, but since the dialog is already running, we don't trigger the dialog again. So if I will just walk through this dialog till the end, you can see the dialog is gone now. And now if I press space, you could see for a second that the start dialog state was active and the dialog UI is showing once again. Alright, so that's it for this quick tutorial. Let me know in the comments if you want me to create some more tutorials on the topic of integration with Playmaker, so that I know what to cover in next videos. And if you want some more help, you can join also our Discord channel. And with that said, I hope I will see you in another video.